Hello, everybody. Pastor Andy here. Welcome to Making It Simple. Great to be back with you. Had to be gone for a couple of days. Looking forward to getting back in our lesson on this beautiful Wednesday. Hope that you are doing well as this week is already halfway over. In fact, June is already halfway over, which means the year is already halfway over. It just really goes by quick. We just came out of talking about transition and change. I want to kind of continue that theme as we really look at Joshua just a little bit more. And I want us to look at the word commitment. We see a lot of things today, a lot of people, in fact, today that are committed to something. We could even argue some need to be committed, but that's a whole different story. Committed. Am I really serious? I want us to read from Joshua chapter 1. I want to read a few verses for you, then we're going to get right into the lesson. So, Joshua chapter 1, beginning in verse 10. Then Joshua commanded the officers of the people, saying, Pass through the camp and command the people, saying, Prepare provisions for yourselves, for within 3 days you will cross over this Jordan to go in and possess the land that the Lord your God is giving you to possess. And the Reubenites and Gadites and half of the tribe of Manasseh, Joshua spoke, saying, Remember the word which Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you, saying, The Lord your God is giving you rest and is giving you this land. So in other words, you have no reason to quit. We should be committed to this cause. Your wives, your little ones, and your livestock shall remain in the land which Moses gave you on this side of the Jordan. But you shall pass before your brethren armed, all your mighty men of valor, and help them, until the Lord has given your brethren rest, as he gave you, and they also have taken possession of the land which the Lord your God is giving them. Then shall you return to the land of your possession and enjoy it. Stay focused, stay committed. Which Moses, the Lord's servant, gave you on this side of Jordan toward the sunrise. So they answered Joshua, saying, All that you have commanded us, we will do. And wherever you say go, we will go. Just as we heeded Moses in all these things, so will we heed you. Only the Lord your God be with you, as he was with Moses. Whoever rebels against your command and does not heed your words, in all that you command shall be put to death. Only be strong and be of good courage. Now, that sounds pretty intense, right? Let's think about that for a minute. When we commit to something, what does that mean? Do we sign a paper? Do we give a verbal, acknowledgement? Okay, yes, I'll do it, or whatever the case. But we see that oftentimes that doesn't hold true. I see people make commitments and stuff all the time in marriage, in business things, in promises that have been made. Hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, knowing good and well that it's never going to happen. I dealt with that for the last couple of years with someone who turned out to be a complete and utter fraud in the idea of committing to something, only to lead people down roads that just weren't true because they were never true. That's not what God does. God provides and supplies and does everything for us that he says he's going to do, because God is committed to us even unto death. Jesus proved that on the cross. Therefore, our commitment back to him should reciprocate that, right? It should say, okay, God is serious. It's time for me to be serious. When we think about coming out of what we talked about transition and change and stuff, understanding this word commitment, as we see through the eyes of these that are listening to Joshua, they're saying, we're going to listen to you, just like we did Moses, and we're going to keep going forward. We're going to do this because God said we could. It's very easy today to quit. Very easy. Because the stress of life, because of the discouragement, oftentimes from others. We find it harder and harder to find a reason to keep going. We find it harder and harder a reason to commit because, well, nobody else has and everybody's bad, and we can come up with all these. But what we miss in that equation is God has never changed. And if He's committed to us eternity, He's committed to us His mercy and grace and all those other things that we're promised that we see every day, if we will embrace it, then we realize the world and this side of life, it's not where we derive all of our joy. We have moments of joy. We have moments of happiness and things that we get excited about, things that we enjoy. But at the end of the day, what are we pursuing? Who are we pursuing? This word commitment, it means a pledge, a promise, a declaration. We hear it all the time. They are committed to their cause. We see that. That can be good and bad. I mean, we see today a lot of causes, a lot of agendas that are extremely unhealthy, both physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, all different ways. But it is heels dug in, and I'm going to do it no matter what and no matter who it hurts. On the other side of that, we see those that are committed to good causes that say, whatever it costs me, I'm willing to pay because this is right. I make a commitment to be there. So I have to go. We hear all these different statements where that word is fitted in there, but some people take it serious and others, well, not so much. We see that sometimes even in an elected position, a person raises their hand and I'm pledging to this, I'm committing to that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and it never happens. This application, it holds true pretty much every aspect of life. Commitment is something that is truly saying when we make a earnest plea of that I'm committed to this, it is truly saying I'm not going to quit until I see it through. I'm not going to quit until I learn this, whatever it is that we're attempting to learn, or until it is clear that the issue is resolved. That's important because we can find this again on the good side or the bad side, depending on what it is that we're pursuing. Some are committed to help others, while others are committed to hurt others. That is a harsh reality in this life. But the thing is, usually, both of those motives are very clear. In other words, we can see someone's heart as to whether they're committed to their cause, regardless of whether it's good or bad. I remember that on the road. When I was a deputy for all those years, you could see what someone's intent was, what their heart was. If they were truly intent on hurting someone or obtaining something that wasn't theirs through bribery, thievery, or other ways, deceiving things, they were going to go through with it. You know, just as if someone was committed to harming themselves, taking their own life, if they were committed to that, they were going to do it, no matter what it took, no matter how many times somebody tried to stop them. Just as when someone is determined that their cause is right, that their cause is good. In particular, we think of today the cause of life. Those that truly are committed to that cause to protect the unborn, they will see it through. They will see it through. I'm not talking about the ones that are violent extremists, but the ones that continue to pray and continue to show through Scripture and just plead and just earnestly show others that life is important. That's so important. So for our example, we go back to Joshua, a little continuation of that. He's accepted this call that God has placed on his life. He's accepted this call, and now it's time to move forward. It's not time to just sit and talk about it. You know, there comes a time when we first get started with something, maybe we need to have a little time of talk and conversation and planning and strategic things and whatever the case. But then there comes a time to implement. It's kind of like the coach meets with the team and they go over the plays and they go over the possibilities and they go over the strengths and the weaknesses of the opposing team and so on and so forth. There comes a point in time that you have to go to the field. You have to take the position. You have to hike the ball. You have to pitch the ball. You have to take the first swing, whatever the case. That's what Joshua's taking me. We're committed, guys. We are going forward. We are moving forward. His people that are with him, they have to be able to see his leadership. And this has to become more visible as the commitment is allowed to happen. In other words, like they said, we'll go wherever you say go. But they have to see that he's committed to their cause. That he's not just saying to them, well, you go because I told you to, but I'm going to sit over here and wait and see what happens. No. This was a all-together thing. This is what we need to understand. We have to see a personal commitment. We'll talk more about that tomorrow when we pick back up on this lesson. This is kind of our introduction to the idea of commitment. What does that mean? How does it look? What is our part? How deeply are we involved? How does it change our life when we get serious about the things of God? I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Great to be back with you here at Making It Simple. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support for this ministry. And it's a joy for me to be there and do these things for all of you. God bless you. Have a great day.